WFBR proudly presents WhoDafuqcastDatGuy with Uncle Nicky. This episode has been rated FMB for foul-mouthed bear.
Hey everybody, it's me, Uncle Nicky. How you doing? Listen, I know that I always said around the neighborhood that I would never end up doing one of those stupid fucking podcasts or whatever, right? But it seems like I don't have a choice any longer. You see, I may have gone to see a screening of Madam Web and stopped by the bar beforehand to make sure I wasn't going to have to buy any of the snacks at the movie theater, because as we all know, that shit is expensive as fuck. So I may have had a few, and I may have gone to the movies, and I may have seen Madam Web, and I may have caused what the judge called a brouhaha. Well, now I find myself in this position, trying to figure out ways of dealing with the community service I have been ordered by the court to do. And so I find myself here, now, filming this new show on YouTube, which I am calling Who the Fuck Cast That Guy with Uncle Nicky. Every single week or so, I'm going to do a quick rundown of a movie you may or may not have seen in order to provide information in a non-critical fashion which will inform people as to whether or not they're interested in the movie. Now, I'm not going to play that game, the whole, is he going to give away spoilers? If somebody's asking me about a movie, I'm going to tell you about the movie. That's just the way I do things. All right? I'm not going to waste your fucking time. If you want to go see the movie, you should have seen it by now, right? I'm simply offering up a service, a simple summation of movies that have come out. So every single week, I'll take a call. I'll see what people want to know about, and I'll spend a little bit of time telling you about that franchise to the best of my abilities, okay? All right. So, first caller, what you got for us?
Oh my god. Hi, Uncle Nicky. Hi. Okay, calm down, Caddy. I used to listen to you when you were on the other show and you just had that little segment, so I'm like super stoked for you that you have your own now. And thanks for taking my call. So I was hoping, since like you're such a movie buff, that you have seen one of my favorites. It's called Serenity. It's not the one with the big fish. It's the one that goes with the TV show Firefly. It's super, super good, and I would love to hear your thoughts on it. And again, I am so happy for you, and thanks for taking my call. Okay, bye.
Sweetheart, that was nice of you. Thank you. Thank you, two parts, Kat. First, for being so kind. Secondly, for clarifying that you didn't want to hear about the Matthew McConaughey movie about the giant fish. That one is a friggin' disaster. But you want to hear about the space one. And boy, do I got a way of telling you about that one. Now, here's the thing. The space movie, Serenity, that comes with a little bit of background because it was part of a television series that got canceled, you know? Because some dumbasses over at Fox decided that they were going to get rid of Firefly, but they were going to keep Family Guy. Makes perfect fucking sense. So I'm going to have to describe to you the story of Firefly in order for you to know exactly what was going on in the movie Serenity, okay? But I'll make sure to do that in a quick wrap-up sort of fashion, okay? We're going to keep this nice. We're going to keep this neat. We're going to keep this clean. And I'm going to keep it short because, honestly, I need to lie down in another couple of Advil. So here's how this goes. In the not-too-distant future, Earth has been turned into an imperialist hellscape. I know, shocking, right? Who would have thunk it? The world has gone straight to shit, but we have space travel, so, we can go out and be fucking hicks out in the rest of the solar system, which, is all right. And I would assume other solar systems because they go to a lot of fucking planets. Most of those planets are fucking backwater, but still, good people, salt of the earth folks. Well, the whole story centers around this ship. Basically, it's the Razor Crest, if the Razor Crest had a few more curves to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's got a nice look to it, but at the same time, it's got, curves in all the right places. You know what I'm saying? And it's crewed by a lovely bunch of rapscallions. There's fucking Cop Cutie from that show, The Rookie, right? The one who gets cast in every fucking James Gunn movie ever, right? You got Cop Cutie. He was also in fucking, he was Captain Hammer? Yeah, Captain Hammer in Dr. Evil. Anyway, Dr. Evil? I don't remember the fucking musical. Doogie Howser was in a musical where he was an evil genius, right? And the good guy who was actually a douchebag was played by the guy who's Cop Cutie from the show The Rookie. I digress. So you have Cop Cutie as the captain of the ship, right? And he's a little bit of a cowboy. At the same time, he's aw shucks in it, and he's got kind of a cute smile, but you always want to punch him in the face a little bit there. All right? And then his first mate was actually a war veteran with him, right? And she, what was she in? Shit. She was in fucking Hannibal. She was Lawrence Fishburne's wife in Hannibal. Yeah. And then, she was on the Suits show. Not the fucking one who ended up marrying the kid from the English fancy family. No, the other one. She's tall. She's very. She used to be on Cleopatra 2525. Yeah. Yeah. So, Cop Cutie's second in command is the chick from Cleopatra 2525. Okay? So there's that. And then you've got the pilot, who, quite frankly, is the chicken from Moana. Okay? That's the easiest fucking way to do it. He's adorable. You're thinking to yourself, he's the kind of character you're going to keep around forever. But I continue. And then you got the fucking engineer who's basically like Scotty and Squirrel Girl. Like, if you took Scotty from Star Trek and Squirrel Girl and you combine them together, that's exactly who ends up fixing the ship at all times. Just like, aw shucks, Chipper, you're waiting for a musical number to happen every single time the kid's on fucking camera. And then magically makes the ship work every single time. And every single time she does it, you can hear every single fanboy in the world get frustrated because, one, they all think that Squirrel Girl Scotty is hot. And two, they're all like, gee gosh darn it, she just knows how it all fucking works. Which is why she's a little bit like Squirrel Girl, is because she just makes it work. And everybody's like, fuck, how does she do it? We're not going to explain it. She just gets it done. And guess what? She's fucking amazing. And it frustrates a bunch of you. And I love it to death. And then last but not least on this crew, there's a fucking, it's a Baldwin. The less handsome Baldwin. The less crazy Baldwin. The less handsome crazy Baldwin. I think he may be a bigger Baldwin. Maybe he's a cousin. I'm not fucking sure. He's the CIA guy from Chuck. Anyway. So they're a crew. Basically, they're thieves. They're pirates. They're mutineers. They take a couple of jobs here, there, and everywhere. They do what they do. It's not exactly always the cleanest thing on the face of the planet, but they get shit done and they keep it together. Now, that's the crew of the ship. They rent one of the life pods out to Deadpool's, well, really, frankly, I was going to say life partner, but let's face it, they rent out a pod to the lady who's pegging Deadpool. And to her, I say respect, Sweet Pea, respect. So, yeah, so she does her thing, oftentimes taking on clientele who she possibly is also pegging. Who's to fucking say? I don't know. And so here's the ship, and they rent out one little space to Wade's pegging girl. All right, so this is the ship. This is the Razor Crest with curves. And one day they decide that they got to take on some passengers. All right, in order to figure out exactly where they're gonna go with this fucking story. First person they take on is a preacher, which in and of itself should tell you that shit's about to go down. Because if you're ever in the middle of fucking nowhere and you find a preacher who is that clean pressed, that individual knows how to throw fucking down. That's like Cousin Tony, all right? Cousin Tony, sure, he might serve the Lord on the weekends now, but we remember what he got down on when he was a kid. So fuck, you know they know their way around. And the other thing, or people that they pick up when they pick up the preacher, is Dr. Doe-Eyed. Yeah, we'll call him Dr. Doe-Eyed. Dr. Doe-Eyed McPrincess. Yeah, Dr. Doe-Eyes. Oh, he's so innocent. He's so pure. He's so aw shucks about it all. Yeah, he's a good kid. And then, in a crate, they've got his crazy sister. You know, the one who played fucking the Terminator in the Sarah Connor Chronicles. So, she got crazy eyes, right? And every so often, she's cool about shit. But every other often, she could kick the shit out of you. You know? So she's doing the best she can with the space. You know, she's working as best as she can. And so this crew, this merry band, they go for a couple of adventures, you know. They get around town. They have a good time. They pull off a couple of heists. They get in a little bit of trouble with the government. All's copacetic, right? They got 10 whole fucking episodes out of that on Fox until Fox was like, this shit's too cool for us. We're going to shut that shit down. Oh, fuck. Guess what? Nerds did not like the fact that they shut that shit down. So Fox was like, you know what? We're going to have to make a movie. We're going to have to quiet these folks down somehow. We're going to do our very best to conclude the story and at the same time try to prove that we weren't wrong in canceling the show. So you know what they fucking did? They made a movie. But they didn't really advertise it very well. And they kind of buried it in the middle of the movie schedule. But I digress. So, you got Cop Cutie Captain, right? You got the lawyer from Suits, okay? They're old soldiers, captain and first mate. And they're going on a couple of adventures. And we start off the fucking movie, right? And they're robbing a bank. Not a big deal, except for the fact that, you know, this whole thing is written in a way that just makes everything conversational and a little bit comedic. And I appreciate that, you know. You like a little bit of comedy, even, you know, when it comes to an upcoming tragedy that may break the hearts of all of the fandom. Moving on. So they're pulling off this job, all right? This bank heist, right? They're actually, technically, it's a fucking, it's a payroll heist, but that's never mind because, you know, it's all insured by the FDIC anyway. So it's the kind of thing that you do on a weekend. And then when the cops come calling, everybody's like, nah, man, we were all at a poker game from Friday until Sunday. What the fuck you want out of us? Anyway, so the crazy sister, the one who's, you know, kind of cool sometimes, but also goes a little wackadoo every so often, the sister of Dr. Disney Princess there. She just happens to be a little bit psychic, right? She starts having flashes, starts having these reminiscences, right? She can start reading minds, and you're like, shit, this is some serious shit we got going on. So Captain Cop Cutie and Cleopatra 2525 end up taking the rest of the crew. Technically, they don't take the rest of the crew. Hey from Moana flies the ship for now. And they go to get paid out, right? They end up settling up. They end up getting the ship clean, the new plates on the ship, the whole 9 yards. And at some point, right, they walk in front of this big fucking TV screen, okay? So, crazy little sister there, right? She's walking in front of the TV screen, and she hears the name Miranda, right? Could be an ex-girlfriend of hers. Could be a girl who used to be a bully in school. Who's to fucking say? But the second she hears that word, she all of a sudden loses her shit and starts beating the fuck out of everybody. I mean, everybody. Cop Cutie Captain goes down. Cleopatra 2525 goes down. Hey goes hiding. Like Squirrel Girl, fucking Scotty goes hiding. You know, very close, however, mind you, to Dr. Disney Princess, because, you know, she's a little sweet on that thin little wafer. Such a pale young man, I'm sure she'll snap him in half. That's not the point. So everybody's like dodging out of the way, right? This is serious fucking shit. She's just kicking the crap out of everybody in this fucking bar. And all of a sudden, Dr. Disney Princess shouts something that doesn't make sense, and crazy little sister falls down. Maybe it was a deactivation. Maybe she is in fact the Terminator. Who's the fuck to say? You know? You don't know these things. So, Dr. Disney Princess gets little Terminator sister back onto the ship, right? Curvy Razor Crest. And they're hanging out. And he decides that this is a good opportunity to explain to everybody exactly what went wrong with his sister, right? Okay. Go back a ways, right? We talked about the fact that they got picked up, right? With clean-cut priest who's never kicked the shit out of anybody, I swear. And so what they do is they find out that she was fucked with by the government. I know, shocking, right? The government fucking with people. Who would have seen it coming? So, Captain Cop Cutie decides, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go lay low a little bit, try to gather a little bit more information, and figure out what the fuck is actually going on. Okay, cool. Okay, fine. Not a single problem. They also ask the help of a friend who's into cybernetics and CCTV could pretty much hack everything on the face of the planet, if not the planets in general. So Captain Cop Cutie's friend, who's the hacker, he's like, oh, right before she passed out, she said Miranda, right? So obviously Miranda's got to be something having to do with what's going on. Okay, cool, says Captain Cop Cutie. We got to figure this the fuck out. But they got bigger problems. Because not only are they dealing with trying to figure out why their youngest and deadliest crew member is, having a mental breakdown, but on top of it, they're being fucking hunted by Baron Mordo from fucking Doctor Strange. Again, he's fucking serious, right? He's like, you know what? I'm not fucking messing around. I am the number one employee for imperialist America / Earth 10 years in a row. And I'm not going to give up that title now. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to find out where you're hiding crazy little sister who might be a Terminator. And I'm going to take her back to Super Earth. And they're going to dissect her. And we're going to make sure that we never have a problem like we had with her ever again. Because she wasn't supposed to get out. No. Dr. Disney Princess was not supposed to take this kid out of lockdown. But he managed to get her out. So, you got the problem with the Baron Mordo, right? You got the problem with fucking Cop Cutie. They're laying low. They're on a planet that clean-cut priest who never beat the shit out of anybody for protection money ever has a whole fucking planet. Sure, it's a mission. Right. I'm sure you've got a whole planet to yourself. You're sure it's basically fucking Tatooine from Star Wars. But, it's yours, so love it. So Captain Cop Cutie, he's like, you know what? We're going to have to figure out what the fuck is going on. And all of a sudden, he gets a message from the chick who's pegging Wade Wilson. And she's like, hey, how you doing? And he's like all awkward. And he's like, hey, how you doing? Trying not to act like I'm into you, but at the same time, forget how to operate as a human being when I'm talking to you. It's perfectly fine. And she's like, hey, I need a little bit of your help. I'm having a little bit of a problem where I'm at. Could you come give us a hand? And he's like, no problem. So they shut off their video call, right? They FaceTime. But it accidentally, Captain Cop Cutie did one of those conference fucking calls because he doesn't know how any of the fucking systems work in his ship. And so everybody else was down below decks listening in on the call, and they were constantly scrutinizing the fact that he had zero riz with Wade Wilson's pegging girlfriend. But that's not neither here nor there, because Captain Cop Cutie knows the whole thing's a fucking setup, right? Because he's like, she wouldn't call me unless she needs something or she's in danger. And the fact that she was nice to me means this whole fucking thing stinks like a fucking rat. So they go to the planet that Wade Wilson's Pega owns or lives on. It's kind of a monastery setting. It's very lush and it's very green and they've got temples. It's lovely. Basically, I think there's a possibility that Wade Wilson's Pega girlfriend may in fact be renting from Princess Armadillo from, Star Wars Episode 1. It has a Naboo kind of feeling to it. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole planet's just got that whole white gentrification thing going on. Anyway, so fucking Captain Cop Cutie and his whole memory band of crazies, they show up. Captain Cop Cutie strolls right in. He's like, you know what? If it's a trap, I'm going to spring it, baby. And everybody else can be prepared to cover the bases if I need backup. Okay, cool. Fine. Well and do. And so Captain Cop Cutie rolls on up in disguise, right? And runs into the girl he's making woo eyes at. I understand it's been a couple thousand years since she and Wade Wilson were together, and Deadpool, he's a one-trick pony. And at least Captain Cop Cutie has hair. So the two of them start chatting, and who should appear out of nowhere? Baron Mordo. He's there. He's like, guess what? You got something I want, all right? The kid's going to be fine, but you got to give her back to me, and we'll just pretend like all of this didn't happen. Okay, sounds great, he says, but not great. So Captain Cop Cutie pulls a fast one, shoots him a couple of times in the chest. Luckily, the guy's wearing Kevlar. Of course he's wearing Kevlar. He wouldn't be that stupid. You know what I mean? So he's laying there on the floor, pretending like he's in a lot of pain. Meanwhile, Captain Cop Cutie and Wade Wilson's pegging girlfriend, they make a run for it to the little pod that she still has. And I got a moment. I got to take a moment here. Because here's my fucking thing. I have both been a rentor and a rentee over the course of my life. But never has anybody I've rented to, nor have I ever been able to rent something that I've been able to take to the lush, gentrified planet that I live on. She took the fucking pod. You know what? She just did. But anyway, so Captain Cop Cutie and Wade Wilson's pegging girlfriend, they get into the little pod and they fly back up to the big ship, the Razor Crest with curves, and they take off. All right, they're putting this shit together. Okay, they're figuring it out, and they finally realize that Miranda was the name of the fucking planet. Crazy, right? Who the fuck gets to name this shit? You know what I'm saying? So they all go to Miranda, right? They all go to Miranda, but in order to get to Miranda, they have to fly through a swarm of fucking awful, cannibalistic space pirates. All right, these things they call Reapers. All right? Because apparently, it's just an easy way of making everybody know that they're evil. It's just Reapers. We'll just slap the name Reapers on it. It's fine. It sounds scary, so we'll do that. Once you understand that they are spacefaring cannibals, I mean, I get it. That in and of itself is creepy as fuck. But in order to get to Miranda, you have to fly past the Reapers. No fucking go. Okay. Not going to do that. We'll figure out something else. Well, they find out, right? Captain Cop Cutie finds out that Baron Mordo found, right, clean-cut priest who had never actually broken a kneecap with a baseball bat in his entire life. They found him and the mission. They fucking killed everybody. It was fucked up, dude. Oh, I want to prove a point. Okay, you know what? Maybe negotiate first, Listen, I'm not saying that you're hostile and a little unhinged, but I've seen how you deal with Stephen Strange, and that's supposed to be happening in like 2019, 2020, like several hundred years in the future. Apparently, that mental unwellness has festered a little bit, and here you are now. So yeah, he kills a fucking mission. He kills fucking, priest who's never once collected protection money in his life. And the priest dies. He dies in Captain Cop Cutie's arms. So Captain Cop Cutie gets fucking pissed off. And he's like, you know what? We are going to just splatter some paint on the front of the fucking ship. We're going to cloak ourselves. We're going to make ourselves look all raggedy as fuck. We're going to fly right past these Reapers, and we're going to find out what the fuck's going on this planet. So they go to the fucking planet, past the Reapers. It's really creepy. They're moving slowly, and the whole thing's very tense. And then they get to Miranda, and you're like, fuck. There's a planet, and everything's built, and everything's clean, and you're like, oh, I feel like I saw this place on a Doctor Who episode. But no, they find out, right? Miranda is this planet where, fuck, they were trying to develop ways of manipulating people, and not through corn syrup. I mean, like, really manipulating people, and not like through advertisement. I mean, really manipulating people and not insisting that fluoride is in the drinking water. And what they do is they figure all this out, and they get the evidence, right? The team's got the evidence, and now they got to do something with it. How are they going to get it out to the world? This is absolutely awful. Captain Cop Cutie has an idea. He says to the rest of the crew, listen, it's a fucking crazy idea, and it might not work, but here's my plan. We're going to go to that hacker we know, the one who walks around with an AI-powered sex robot. And we're going to go to his planet. We're going to use his equipment, and we're going to just send the signal fucking everywhere. You know what I mean? We're just going to put it on YouTube and shit. Wink. So he's like, okay, we're going to do that. But you know for a fact that fucking Baron Mordo and all of the fucking imperialist forces, they're going to be waiting. They know what you're doing. They know how to find you. Like, there's no clean way of dealing with this. And so all of a sudden, he has an idea. Captain Cop Cutie goes a little bit crazy. And he's like, oh, I know what we're going to do. So what they do is, they get back into the curvy Razor Crest, and they take off, right? And they're heading past the Reapers again. Very tense, very quiet. You're like, don't want to attract too much attention. This is going to get crazy. And then all of a sudden, they switch directions, and less attractive, less crazy Baldwin brother is on a mounted cannon on top of the curvy Razor Crest, and he shoots at some of the Reapers, and this pisses the Reapers off. So the Reapers are like, oh, fuck no, you're not getting away from us, motherfucker. So they start following him. And apparently, Hacker Boy lives like 2 or 3 planets over. Who's to say? Anyway, so they all start flying the curvy Razor Crest towards Hacker Man's planet. And like fucking Baron Mordo's got all of these imperialist ships just waiting. And all of a sudden, through a cloud of, I don't know, fucking space diesel fumes, like curvy Razor Crest comes out of the fumes, and like Baron Mordo's like, haha, got you now. Like, you foolish for trying this. And all of a sudden, all of the Reaper ships come out of the fucking diesel cloud, and they're like, smog monsters, we're gonna get you. Also, we're very hungry, and we eat people, and we don't judge. So the imperialist ships are fighting the Reaper ships are fighting the imperialist ships, and this one curvy Razor Crest is trying to get through everything, and, Hey from Moana is doing his very fucking best job. He's gonna get this, he's got it, he's being all poetic, I'm a leaf on the wind in some junk, and he's making it, and they get through without a single bit of damage. They get through, and they land the ship. It's kind of rough, right? But they make it. They make it into the hangar, and it crashes a little bit, but they park it. It's like how your grandmother parks, in a parking lot of donkeys after church. It's the I'm still asleep but I didn't have coffee yet because, I had to go see Jesus first. Because Jesus frowns on you drinking caffeine before you actually go and see him on Sundays. So, yeah, they park the curvy Razor Crest kind of like your grandmother parks a car in a parking lot of Dunkies after she's gotten through a mess. And you're like, they landed? Everybody's safe? Not a single problem? Bam! Hey from Moana. Spear straight through the chest. I hate to tell you guys, but I don't think he's going to make it. So, co-captain Cleopatra 2525, she was married to Hey. And she has a moment, there's deep emotions. But we can't have emotions now because fucking Donna Potty is on our fucking tail. So, they all flee the curvy Razor Crest. And they go down into the planet. And they're trying to find out how to send this signal because, of course, Captain Cop Cutie, he's got a Nintendo cartridge. And he's going to slam it into Hacker Boy's computer. And he's going to send a signal that's going to inform everybody exactly what kind of bullshit they were pulling on Miranda. And he goes, and he gets down there, and as he's getting down there, they're being followed by the Reapers, They're desperately trying to eat him. And so, co-captain Cleopatra 2525 goes, Captain Cop Cutie, you go. We'll cover your flank. We're going to draw the line here. You go send the signal. And he's like, I'll get on that. So he gets on the elevator, and he goes down. And the rest of them are trapped in his very small dentist's office. And they're waiting. And they set up barricades. And somebody says, hey, where did Hey from Moana go? And quietly, everyone acknowledges that he must have been fried. So they're all preparing, You've got Dr. Disney Princess with a gun, though he doesn't look like he actually knows how to use it. And then you've got Squirrel Girl Scotty, who admits that she's into Dr. Disney Princess, and Dr. Disney Princess is like, totally, we should go out and maybe have a couple of drinks and, I don't know, hook up later. And she's like, oh my God, I'm totally gonna live if you're telling me that I'm gonna get some later. And so they're sitting there and they're ready. And fucking crazy Terminator little sister, she's cowering in the corner. And the less attractive Baldwin brother, who's less crazy, has a weapon. And co-captain Cleopatra 2525 has got a weapon. And Wade Wilson's girlfriend, who pegs him, has this weird energy bow thing, which I'm still not quite sure how it works, because she never loads it, but it just keeps firing. But anyway. So they create a line of defense, and they engage the Reapers, and it gets very violent, and everybody gets injured at some point. And meanwhile, down in the bowels of the building, Captain Cop Cutie has finally found the NES where we can, put in that cartridge. And so he's like, oh, well, I'm on a platform here, and the NES is on that platform over there. I guess I'm going to have to fucking, I don't know, Indiana Jones it and some shit. And that's when Baron Mordo comes out of fucking nowhere. It's like, you know what? You have pissed me off. You have wrecked all of the ships that my bosses gave us, all right? I did not take out any rental insurance on any of those vehicles, and you fucked them all up. So now I'm going to fuck you up. And so they get in a fight. Right? And of course, Captain Cop Cutie is really outmatched because this guy, Baron Mordo, not only does he know, this secret mystical arts of fucking Dr. Strangeland, but he also fucking knows how to kung fu fight. All right? So he's got him dead to fucking rights. But Captain Cop Cutie, he's scrappy. And he's adorable. And his hair's flopping all sorts of ways. And he's getting bloodied up. And they're fighting and they're fighting and they're fighting. And eventually, they swing over to the platform where the NES is. We cut back to the crew upstairs, all right? And you've got co-captain Cleopatra 2525 is injured. You've got Wade Wilson's pegging girlfriend has gotten something stuck in her. And that's never a good time. And you got all of them. They're all kind of banged up. And they're all bleeding. And everybody's going to die. And they've drawn back into the hallway that leads to the elevator that Captain Cop Cutie took to go down to the transmission tower. Cool. And they're like, we'll close the doors. It'll create the last barrier. And they get the doors almost closed, but it's like this big open, right? And Dr. Disney Princess is like, oh, I can help everybody, but then gets shot. Oh no. Dr. Disney Princess. He's been shot. He's been injured. Luckily, he's been shot in the one place that it doesn't mean that he died instantly. No. He's simply bleeding. But he's telling his sister, Terminator, crazy little sister, he says, I need my bag. I need my medical bag. And crazy little sister says, I'll be back. And runs, jumps through the little hole, and just fucking starts wiping everybody out. And you know what? You know that girl. You know that girl. You've been at the bar with that girl. The one who wears the very large glasses, right? And has the very flowy dress and is like, I'm in peace and love with everybody. And the next thing you know, something goes sideways and she fucks shit up. So, yeah. So, you've got the sister is just killing them. Wiping them out whole fucking hog, all right? Throws the bag back into to Dr. Disney Princess so that he can like stabilize everybody who's injured, including himself. And yet she's just like, she's going to fucking town like somebody insulted the Bruins. All right. Cut back to Captain Cop Cutie, right? Cut back to him and Baramordo. And they're duking it out. And all of a sudden, Baramordo uses some fucking Doctor Strange shit and like pokes where a nerve should be on Captain Cop Cutie, and he's supposed to have paralyzed him. Oh my God, right? This is the end for Captain Cop Cutie. Oh my God. But no, that nerve's no longer there, right? And then he stabs him in the side, and he's like, oh, that'll be the end of him. But what he does not realize is that because of all of the war that he had done, Captain Cop Cutie had a bunch of his internal organs rearranged, and probably not by the chick who's pegging Wade Wilson. So, Baron takes a moment, gives his supervillain soliloquy, goes in to stab Captain Cop Cutie one last time. And Captain Cop Cutie does a hi-ya, just like a Captain Kirk to the fucking throat. And you're like, what now, asshole? And so then he chicken wings him, and he like pops both of his shoulders out of socket, and then he takes his own fucking sword, right? He takes Baron Mordo's sword and uses it to just fucking lace him to the railing of the fucking platform. Because you know what? Guy might be an asshole. He might have tried to kill you. But you want to make sure that you stick to OSHA rules, right? You wouldn't want to just leave him flopping there on the floor, right? No, because now he can't use his arms. And worst case scenario, he ends up sitting up or flopping over into the one space where there's no railing, and then he falls to his death. And who's going to get sued for that shit? Captain Cop Cutie, that's who. So Captain Cop Cutie's like, I got you fucking dead to rights. You stay fucking there. I'm going to pop this in. And he pops in the Nintendo cartridge. He hits play, and it plays all the fucking facts. Right? He just drops the knowledge all over the fucking network. Okay? Blazing it up. Galaxy-wide YouTube. And all of a sudden, what the fuck is the imperialist government supposed to do? Everybody finds out about this shit. Everybody finds out that they were doing all this really weird shit. And they collectively get upset about it, right? And so they're like, nah, man, this ain't gonna work. We're gonna fucking revolt. We know what you guys have been doing back on Super Earth. We're not cool with it. So shut that shit down, homie. So we cut back, right, to little Terminator crazy sister. And she's fucking like, she's just standing there with like a sword and an axe. And she fucking murdered every single cannibalistic asshole that was coming after the crew. Right? And so all of the crew's been stabilized. The doors are as closed as they can be. And like, you're like, okay. And then Captain Cop Cutie comes back up in the elevators like, report. How's everybody doing? And they're all like, we're fucked up, boss. But you know what? We're doing better than hey. Rest in peace. So then the doors open, and they see crazy Terminator sister standing there, right? She's bodies up to her fucking thighs, right? Like, you're looking at her going, oh my God, a stiff breeze could knock you over, kid, but yeah, I ain't gonna fuck with you. And so it's like, oh, we've won. But then the wall behind her just blows up, and you're like, fuck. And there's a bunch of stormtroopers who come through. But they're not really stormtroopers. They look like Starship troopers, but only like, they all got all of their budget gear from like a Halloween store. Anyway, they bust in, and they're ready to just start blasting caps all over the place and making sure that they yell, they've got a gun, before just unloading fully automatic weapons in the direction of anybody who's not one of them. And they're like, should we fire? And Baramordo, from deep down in the body of the building where the antenna was, because you go down to get to an antenna, I'm not asking any questions. All of a sudden he's like, no, man, it's fucking game over. We might as well fucking call it quits. They won, we lost. It's fine. It's fine. I mean, I'm going to be bitter about it, but what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So, cut to them all burying Hey right next to Father. I've never actually operated a shotgun nor sawn one off in order to prepare for a gang war in my life. They've buried their two friends alongside the hacker, and I would imagine his artificial intelligence sex bot. And they honor them, and it's beautiful. And they've gotten their ship back to a dock where they can repair it. They're piecing it back together the best that they can. And all of a sudden, Baron Mordo comes along and is like, listen, just want to let you know, you guys are clean. Here's some new plates. I wiped out all your records. Nobody's going to be fucking following you. They got too much shit to deal with, given the fact that this whole thing's been a fucking PR nightmare. And of course it's a PR nightmare, because I'm not working for him anymore, because I retired after that shit went down. And Captain Cop Cutie's like, well, okay, I hope I never see you again. And Baron Mordo's like, you know what? You probably won't see me again, because I'm probably going to go become a very well-pressed preacher on a planet where people are going to be like, oh, Pastor, you're very good with a gun. And I'm going to be like, it's just natural. I learned it from the Lord. So, all's happy. All's well that ends well. And what happens next? What happens? Well, they're getting in the ship, and all of a sudden, Captain Cop Cutie, he takes one of the sticks, because he's going to fly. Sitting across from him is itty-bitty, Terminator kid, who seems to be a little bit more sane now that all of that messed up shit got out of her system. But, she's still psychic to a certain degree, so best not to be having any dirty thoughts about other members of the crew around her, because she's just going to fucking know. Dr. Disney Princess has gotten with Squirrel Girl Scotty. They're a cute couple. Less crazy, less attractive Baldwin brother is downstairs polishing his weapons. It's good. Co-captain Cleopatra, she's still a member of the crew. And Wade Wilson's pegging girlfriend says, you know what? I'm going to stick around. I'm going to see how things go. Maybe I'll do a little bit more than rent your escape pod, Captain Cop Cutie. And you're like, oh, they're going to be adorable. They're going to make cute kids. So Captain Cop Cutie, an itty-bitty Terminator system, they fly the ship off into the sunset. All's well that ends well. And that, my friends, is the cinematic masterpiece, which is Serenity, starring Captain Cop Cutie, co-captain Cleopatra 2525, Hey from Moana, rest in peace. At the end of the movie, he was a chicken sticker. Dr. Disney Princess. Father, I've never actually stolen TVs off the back of a truck before, I swear. The less attractive and less crazy Baldwin brother. Who else am I forgetting? Squirrel Girl Scotty. And of course, The Hacker and Berman Mordo. It was a good fucking movie. If you've never seen it, I suggest you see it. Compare what I've said to the actual movie. We'll see what you think. Now, I'm being informed by my parole officer that I got to do at least another 15 of these, if not more, depending on whether or not the judge likes them. I'm looking at like a weekly release schedule, so we'll see how that works. I haven't figured out what next week's release is, but we'll see exactly who calls in then. Until then, this has been Who the Fuck Cast That Guy with Uncle Nicky. Stay safe. Enjoy your movies. Try the chicken on a stick.
You know what I can't stand? I can't stand when you get to the credits, right? And all that's playing is music. You know, like, what is the fucking point of credits if you're going to just sit there and you're going to watch words roll by? And yes, I do. I would like to take this opportunity to fully appreciate each and every one of you. But at the same time, like, who wants to watch this shit? So I've decided that there is only one thing I can possibly do in this scenario, and it is this. We're gonna wiggle like a sneaky little extra episode in here, all right? That's what we're going to do. We're going to sneak in the explanation of the other Serenity. Now, I'm willing to bet that none of you knew that there was another Serenity movie because let's face it, like, who the hell would ever utilize that name for their movie after this movie was named that? Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. But apparently somebody decided that they needed to name a movie Serenity after this movie had already come out, like the movie with Captain Cop Cutie and his whole crew on the curvy Razor Crest. Like, somebody was like, no. You know what? That movie wasn't classic. That movie did not touch the hearts and minds of fans everywhere. We're just gonna co-opt that name and we're gonna attach it to a movie that it makes no friggin' sense being attached to. So here's the deal. As these credits roll by, and each and every one of you realize that I appreciate you and you deserve all the praise in the world because you guys make this possible, I'm going to take this opportunity to explain to you the absurdity, which is the movie Serenity, starring the hick from Interstellar and the princess / queen of Genovia.
So, fucking, you know, the fucking hick from Interstellar, who's also a rocket scientist. Yeah, okay. And he's raising his kids, but then he goes to space in order to try to find another planet because Earth is dying because fucking old white guys destroyed the fucking planet in order to make a quick buck. All right. So, that guy apparently retires and becomes a fishing boat captain. Fucking, and what he does is he becomes a fishing boat fucking captain, and he's like out there, he's just sailing the waters, right? He fishes for a living. He takes people out on his fishing boat to fish. And one day, the princess of fucking Genovia shows up. By this point, I'm sure she's the queen. And she's looking all, she's looking all hot and spicy. And she's like, hey, it's been a while since I seen you. And he's like, hey, haven't seen you since we broke up. And she's like, listen, I need you to do me a favor because we both know we still got the chemistry. And he's like, yeah, I guess we do. She's like, I need you to kill my husband. The fuck, what? So here's the deal. I need you to kill my husband with a fucking swordfish. And he's like, I guess I'll do that for you, but only because you're hot. All right. So, fucking the guy from Interstellar, the hick from Interstellar, he's like, sure, I'll take your horrible husband out on the water. And we'll have a fishing accident. Because nobody would fucking expect you to say, oh, the rich guy died on a fishing boat. He had a fishing accident. Yeah, okay. No, the only place you get away with that line is Jersey, because you'd come into the Port Authority and be like, yeah, rich guy had a fishing accident. And everybody would be like, oh, okay. So anyways, so fucking, Yeah, he's a rich guy. He's a fucking John Connor, all right? But John Connor from the shitty movie, where Daenerys Targaryen is Sarah Connor, because, somehow she survived being stabbed by Jon Snow. Spoilers. Anyway, so fuck. So Hick from Interstellar and the Queen of Genovia, they are all hot and heavy. But every so often, the movie cuts back to this kid who's in his room, who's on his computer, and he's just like, he's typing furiously, and he keeps talking about his dad, who he misses, and okay. So you're like, every so often, we cut back to the kid, and you're like, okay, there's a kid talking about his dad. He must be talking about the fucking Hick from Interstellar, who's in love with the Queen of Genovia, who has now done the sexy bits with him so that he will stab her husband in the chest with a swordfish, who just happens to be John Connor. So apparently the Hick from Interstellar is working for Skynet. I don't want to judge. We make our money the best way that we can in this fucking economy. Would you really turn down that job? So they go out on a boat, okay? They go out on a boat, and it's fucking a Hick from Interstellar, right? And he's gonna kill the Queen of Genovia's husband. There's gonna be a fishing accident. All right, so cool. So he gets John Connor really fucking blasted, right? He gets this guy so fucking wasted, and they're out there on the boat, and it's like, oh, we got a big one, and like Hick from Interstellar, he knows that he got a big one because he's got that sense. He's got that sense about him, right? Okay. And then at this point, it's getting nice. The tension is building, right? The tension is building. And like every so often, you cut back to the kid playing on his computer. And it's like, oh, okay, the kid, what has he got to do with any of this? And you're like, oh my God, it's getting really crazy. And you're like, get kind of disappointed because I was waiting. I was waiting the whole fucking time for like the Hick from Interstellar to reach into the water and go, all right, and just stab John Connor in the chest with a swordfish. No, you know what he does? He wraps John Connor in a fucking fishing line. Goes, oh, I've latched onto a big one. Here, hold this. John Connor gets pulled over the boat and dies. And you're thinking to yourself, all right, perfect clean off. It's taken care of. No, fucking John Connor. The John Connor from the Terminator movie where Sarah Connor was Daenerys Targaryen. Oh my God, IMDb is gonna fucking lose its mind. Why the fuck are people looking this up in this order? Anyway, so the Queen of Genovia's husband, fucking dead, right? And the guy, the Hick from Interstellar, is all right, because he just killed the husband out in the middle of the water and nobody witnessed it. And then you cut back to the kid on his computer, and that's when you find out that the Hick from Interstellar is actually a program that the kid on the computer programmed, and this whole thing's been a video game. There it is. You're welcome. Bonus episode of Who the Fuck Cast That Guy.